2 weeks, 3 of us. New Mexico, driving cattle.
What, like in a truck?
No, cowboys. It's a real old-fashioned cattle drive.
For 3 friends on the vacation of a lifetime.
Welcome to the Stone Ranch. Came out here, city slickers. You're gonna go home, cowboy.
Yahoo!
Male bonding
My ass hurts just watching this.
is going to leave a mark.
Over now!
They ride.
Hi, Curly. Kill anyone today?
They ain't over yet.
They rope.
And what's wrong with that?
They roast.
Welcome to Movie Life Crisis. Join us as we watch the best movies from 30 years ago. All right, City Slickers, episode number 1 of the podcast, Movie Life Crisis. Maybe episode 1 of only one, maybe episode 1 of 1,000, I don't know.
Hopefully 1,000, because I like watching movies.
Hopefully 1,000, yes, agreed. This is a podcast about movies that came out 30 years ago, which is a time that you and I were both alive, but old enough to really like movies, but also far enough back that talking about them is really fun.
Also, just talking about them when we were deciding them, I was getting excited, so I know it's going to be good.
I already am excited to talk about more movies that we might pick because there's frickin' so many good movies in 1991. And the first movie that we picked is City Slickers, based on nothing other than that we really liked it.
The idea is to do maybe one a month to start off with. So
yeah,
this isn't in any kind of order at all. This is just, we really liked it.
I really liked it in my memory, and we'll get into it, but I also really liked it again earlier today. Holy crap, this movie's freaking awesome.
Way good.
Give us a synopsis. Tell us about it.
All right. So a little quick synopsis. On the verge of turning 40, an unhappy Manhattan yuppie roped into joining his 2 friends on a cattle drive in the Southwest. You heard the trailer when we first started. That's what it's all about. Of course,
Billy
comedy
Crystal
ensues after that. Yeah.
Billy Crystal, Daniel Stern, Bruno Kirby, the 3 leads. This is Billy Crystal's movie.
Big time. Yeah, it was his idea. The budget that they gave it was $27 million, which is dropping the bucket by today's standards. But it did okay. You want to talk about the box office and how much money it actually made to show how popular it actually was?
Yeah, $27 million budget made $124 million domestic, $179 million worldwide in 1991 dollars, which is, I don't know how many today pesos that's worth, but probably not nearly as much.
Yeah, it's worth a lot. It's worth a lot. It did open in only 1,992 theaters. So that's also really small by today's standards.
Yeah, but fourth of the year for 91 domestic gross.
Yes, absolutely. It was behind T2, Terminator 2, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, Home Alone, and Silence of the Lambs.
This was a massive movie.
Yeah, it was pretty big. To put that into perspective, the 5th movie of 2020, which is that counts the COVID shutdown because you remember the everything shut down in March, was Star Wars Episode 9, Rise of the Skywalker, Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, it made $177 million just on its opening weekend. Of course, that is Star Wars, and it's not a comedy western like we're talking about. But
yeah,
even with the COVID shutdown and everything, worldwide it made $1 billion. So
yeah, it made more in the opening weekend than this movie made in its worldwide gross. And this movie's opening weekend was like $13 million, which is like a joke for Star Wars money, or even 2020 box office. Good Lord.
Right. Even the Emoji Movie probably made more than that. So yeah, but that's how movies were back then. That's how movies were.
Yeah. So Smash, $27 million.
And also, it still won some awards. You want to talk about the awards? Award?
The award.
Singular?
The singular award. Jack Palance as Curly won a freaking Oscar for this movie. Best Supporting Actor. Also won a Golden Globe for Best Supporting Actor, which is just so awesome that someone from this movie won an Oscar and that it was Jack Palance.
By the way, did you know he was nominated before, 38 years prior to this, for the movie Shane?
Yeah, for Shane, right?
Way back in the day.
So he had a brief 38-year window between nominations.
Did you, and I don't know if you've seen the video, I think I sent it to you, but I don't know if you saw it, where he takes the award, and he was talking about how, hey, they thought, this guy's way too old, he'll never be able to do it, because he was 73 years old when he was playing this, and they didn't think he was going to be fit enough, and he proved them wrong by doing one-arm push-ups when he was trying out for the movie. And he proved it again at the Oscars when he did it in front of
Yeah, so he actually is doing one-arm push-ups in a tuxedo as he's getting his Oscar while Whoopi Goldberg looks on because she presented it.
Yes.
It sounds like you're telling me about a dream that you had. Jack Palance is doing one-arm push-ups in a tuxedo while Whoopi Goldberg watches, but this is a legitimate thing that happened in 1992. Not
only was it a tuxedo, it was a shimmery silver tuxedo. It was like a $1,200 Valentino suit. See my reflection.
This movie spawned one sequel, City Slickers 2, in 1994. Original cast comes back, except for Jack Palance, who, spoiler alert, dies in the movie.
But he does come back.
He does come back, in a flashback.
No, I thought it was, wasn't it his brother?
Oh, it's his brother. Oh, I forgot about that. Yes, his brother.
Yeah. Remember, he thought he was seeing a ghost, but it was his brother.
Oh, man.
I mean, we don't want to ruin the podcast for 3 years.
We don't want to ruin the 2024 podcast for
the Legend of
2.
Curly's Gold. Yeah,
the Legend of Curly's Gold. I don't know if that one's going to make the cut. Truth be told, do you remember where you first saw this movie?
I absolutely remember where I saw this movie. So I saw it at the Hammond Square Mall movie theater, which was a duplex, 2 screens. I had to look it up because I was wondering how many seats it holds. So the Hammond Theater now has 1,600 seats. This one had 392. I remember it because it was PG-13. It came out in the early summer, and I wasn't. My birthday's in August, so I wasn't 13 yet. And my dad was like, "No, I want to go see this. I think you know, your grandpa loved westerns. I love Billy Crystal. I'm going to take you to go see it." So I can remember literally going there. Thinking back to that theater, it's super weird. Sure, you had Cucos right across the way where you could get the chips and salsa unlimited. And they had the snack bar that was between the 2 entrances to the theater. They had these crop circle carpet. It was the weirdest looking thing. And then there was artistic renderings of Kiss on the wallpaper.
Nice.
That is a deep cut. And I don't I asked my dad and he goes, "I totally remember Kiss because you made me take a picture in front of it." It was a really bad theater. This was way before.
That's a super deep cut and an amazing story. I don't remember Kiss. I remember Cucos had the hot dogs wrapped in tortillas and then deep fried, which was
chimi-dogs.
The chimi-dogs, which were amazing, and were only on the children's menu. But I forced them to give them to me well into adulthood, and I would just be like, "Please, just charge me a grown-up amount of money for this, but I want the chimi-dogs. I know they're for kids."
No, and I told that story not that long ago. I was like, "Yeah, JT always liked the chimi-dogs," but they were like, "Sorry, it's on the kids menu," and they're like, "Yeah, just give me 2 of them and charge me an adult entree price."
I'm happy to pay the extra money, but I want the hot dogs deep fried around a tortilla. How the heck did you find out how many seats were in the Hammond Square Mall theater?
I looked it up. I downloaded it actually because I liked reading about this stuff. It was the history of theaters in the Southeast Louisiana. They talked about how many cars the drive-in theater had, how many seats the Town and Country Theater had. It had all of that.
Nice. The internet is awesome sometimes.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I didn't see this in theaters because I was 11 when it came out, but I'm pretty sure the only other place to see movies back in the day was Blockbuster. So I'm positive that my dad rented this for me, but I know he must have rented it a bunch of times because I saw it a bunch of times, and I saw it in the original with all the cursing and the dirty stories. So I definitely did not see it on TBS.
Yeah, that was way before syndication, though, right? I can remember, you know how you used to have the VHS where you would write the name of the movie and you would record it off of HBO? That's how I had a copy of this movie at home.
Yeah, we never had HBO, so I feel like unless there was they gave you the 1 month for free in the summer, but we never paid for it. So other than that,
the free HBO, they don't show stuff like City Slickers. The free HBO, they show Schindler's List and The Pianist and stuff like that, and then they get
a little free
Police
sample
Academy.
like a drug dealer. But I didn't have a credit card in '91, so it wasn't going to work on me.
Yeah, man.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Do you remember the theater itself though? No stadium seating.
Yeah.
The floor was gently sloped.
Yeah, and it was all sticky. I remember Town and Country better than that, but yes.
What about? I remember Town and Country also. I was telling my son
and the University Theater one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There was two in each.
Yeah.
I was telling Jake, my son, I was saying and the weird thing was if you drop something in the middle of the movie on the floor, you literally have to wait until the end of the movie when they turn the lights on to find it. because you're not going to drag your hand across the floor because it's like a strip floor, stripper floor, and like nobody has a flashlight because there's no phones.
No.
So unless you have a flashlight like with you, you're SOL.
You're SOL. Yeah, absolutely. This movie's phenomenal. Let's talk about it. We broke it down into like the best and then the worst and then like just facts. And I don't know if those categories will stay or if we'll play around with it, but the best is a much longer list. You want to start us off with like some of your best? Whichever one you want to start
absolutely. With. There's two that I would think that I like the most that you probably didn't like as much. The phone call in the morning when his mom does the thing. And his mom tells the story and he's mouthing the words.
He's mouthing it along.
And he's even like taking the breaths when she takes the breaths. Is hysterical, and that is spot on my dad. That one is fantastic. And I read when I was looking stuff up, I read that his mom actually does that.
Yeah, I did. I did too. That is freaking amazing. That's not one of my favorite scenes, but it is fantastic.
So what's your first favorite scene?
I mean, I went through in order. The first thing I have written down is like the first noteworthy scene that I really liked is the career day, the whole career day thing.
That was my second one.
Oh my god, the freaking it's the take your dad to work day, and the guy that goes before Billy Crystal, who's like a guy who sells radio ad space, is this like big giant construction worker who's telling this like really like New York story with like his butt crack showing about a car fell on a woman and he's lifting the car off and he's like cussing and he's like making jack off hand gestures at the kids. And the kids freaking love it. And then Billy Crystal gives this really long speech about what you do in your 20s and then your 40s and then your 60s. You'll have a minor surgery. You'll call it a procedure. And the music's still too loud, but it doesn't matter because you can't hear it anyway.
When I still use the old Jamaican nurse that you call mama. Like
that your wife can't stand that you call mama.
I still use that quote. That's one of the two quotes I still use. And I can't even tell you how I slip it into sentences, but I do.
I can't either. This movie's PG-13, but we're trying to keep this podcast PG. Or I wish I could play or recap for you the construction dad's speech. But I encourage you to go on YouTube and look it up because it's freaking hilarious.
It's way funny. My next scene, which I think might be also on your list, is when Daniel Stern, first of all, he's pretending to sleep at the party so he doesn't have to talk to his wife. And when he wakes up, there's a doorbell, and it's somebody that works for him. And it turns out that he was sleeping with one of the young girls that's 24. No, 20? No, how old is she?
Yeah, she's 20.
She's 20.
Yeah, it's at Billy Crystal's birthday party, and then Daniel Stearns manages a supermarket that his wife's father owns, and then one of his checkout girls comes to the party to tell him that she's pregnant. And yes, that scene is phenomenal.
What? It's the whole if hate were people.
Yes.
I used to use that way more. I wish I should use it again.
It's not too late to go back to it.
I need to.
Dude, I know. Let's just play that quote now because we're going to, as long as we're talking about it.
Oh,
I wanna,
yeah, you got it.
I'm going to fire that up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll tell my father what you did.
No! Do not call Mr. Levine! Hey! Put down that phone! Phil, put it down. That's my phone!
You're crazy!
That's right! Not having sex for 12 years will do that to a person!
Come on, you stop it. Come on.
Ah!
I'll call from the bedroom!
The bedroom? How the hell would you know where the bedroom is?
I'm calling!
Go ahead, call him. I'm sure he's home. It's his night to meet with the other escaped Nazis, isn't it?
I hate you!
I hate you more! If hate were people, I'd beat China!
The whole, like, how he's standing when he says, if hate were people, I'd beat China. Like, I really love that.
The whole scene is great because the whole freaking movie, by the way, but also this whole scene, Billy Crystal's just, anytime someone pauses, he just throws in a quip.
Yeah, as fast as he can.
The whole time they're fighting, he's just like, not in front of your friends. He's like, let's get some cake.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And he's like holding out the tray. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, my next scene that I have written down is the VCR scene.
There's nothing to be ashamed of. I had the same problem.
But didn't you feel stupid? I mean, didn't you feel inadequate?
Yeah, for a while, but then I overcame it. Can I explain it to you again? I mean, and promise me you won't get upset.
Okay. It's not going to do any good.
Okay. If you want to watch one show, but record another show at the same time, the television set does not have to be on channel 3.
It does.
No, it doesn't.
Does.
No, if you're watch a recording, then it has to be on 3.
Wait, the TV or the machine?
The TV.
You're saying I can record something I'm not even watching?
Yes, that's the point. You don't even need a TV to record.
How would I see it?
Well, to see it, you need a TV. But
Shut up. Just shut up. He doesn't get it. He'll never get it. It's been 4 hours. The cows can tape something by now. Forget about it, please.
That's my type of humor, where he sets it up in the beginning and it sounds like he's going to talk about something else. And then you realize it's like, those are the best type of jokes to me. And this movie's full of those, where he's like, hey, it's not a problem. Yeah, a lot of people go through it. Let's go over it again. And then he talks about, oh man, that's
iconic, especially 30 years later, because like no one now, like your kid doesn't even know what a VCR is probably. I mean, your kid might because he's your kid, but like no one under the age of like 30 has ever owned a VCR. Yeah, the VCR scene is great. Like you said, it starts in the middle of like, it sounds like he's counseling him about a sex problem. It's like, do you want me to talk about it again? It's okay. It happens to a lot of guys. I used to feel the exact same way. And then he just launches into this extended explanation of how to record stuff with a VCR.
yes.
And then Bruno Kirby gets super mad about it. Oh man,
Fantastic.
You skipped way further ahead than I did. This is not the funniest scene, but I also had the whole like sequence. It starts off with Ed and Mitch on horseback, and Ed's trying to construct scenarios where it's okay to cheat on your wife. Where it's like, oh, what about this beautiful woman comes down on a spaceship, and he's like, oh, good, reality. It's like, and she wants to have sex with you. That's what she came here for, and then she goes away, and no one will ever find out about it. And Billy Crystal's like, the answer's still no, because this exact scenario happened to a cousin of mine, and they did find out about it at the beauty salon. They know everything there. Which is like the most frickin' Billy Crystal joke.
Yes.
But then, that like through line, like, would you have sex with the alien, goes on to when Mitch is off with Curly, and he's asking Curly the same question.
Yes.
But I had the same sequence, because right after that is when Mitch and Curly go off by themselves. And I had like the harmonica scene. They're like around the campfire. Mitch and Curly go off by themselves to find some strays. And everyone's terrified of Curly because he's a nut job. And Billy Crystal's already made fun of him, and Curly's already acted like he was going to murder him. And so he's just sharpening his knife, and Billy Crystal's playing the harmonica, and he keeps telling him not to. And Mitch stands up to him, and then they just sing Tumbling Tumbleweeds while he plays the harmonica.
Yes.
And
he finally just lets him keep playing and sings along. Yes.
But dude,
it's fantastic.
So it was like a really amazing character development scene for both of them, and like, but also it was really funny, and not like jokey funny, but just this stuff Billy Crystal was doing. Like he played the first verse and Curly was singing, and then the first verse trails off, and then Curly starts on the second verse, and he rips the harmonica back up to his face and launches into the second verse
as fast as he can. Like he gives him that "I don't stop." Yeah.
So that whole sequence from the like horseback aliens and then Mitch and Curly together, I had on the list.
Yeah. That's the thing. So I was trying to pick like ones that I really like, because I could stop at every scene and say like the next scene when he delivers Norman, he delivers the cow.
I have that too. I just paused the movie like every 3 minutes to type what scene just happened, how much I liked it.
Yeah, but like when he loses his watch, he's like, "That was a gift." Like all of those are things that I liked. I was just trying to think of stuff that stood out really to me.
Yeah, well, I think I captured that one because I think Mitch and Curly going off on their like little mini adventure, their like side quest was really important for the movie.
Yeah, no,
and also for like Billy Crystal's character development. And I like the cowboy philosophizing. He's like, "You city folk worry about silly stuff, and it's really just the one thing."
Right, the one thing. I was going to say that's when that happens. That's probably something that
thing.
That's the takeaway. That dude. So when you look up stuff about City Slickers, there's a ton of articles that are just like, you got to find your one thing, just like City Slickers. So like that one thing is the stuff that sticks with everybody.
Question for you that I don't have an answer for. Do you think the writers of this movie actually had an answer for that one thing, or was that supposed to just be rhetorical?
No. I think it's different for each person. Just like Mitchie the Kid says.
I found my one thing.
I think it's different for each person.
All right, I hate that. I think that's lazy.
What?
I don't know.
There is no one thing. The things that I like aren't the things that you like.
Yeah, but
gotta be
one thing, there's got to be some like universality to that. There's got to be one thing that a lot of people could agree on is like the most important thing.
breathing. I don't know. Yeah, I'm with you.
My watch came off. It was a gift. I had that on my list too, but like primarily because that was when Norman came out, the baby calf that Billy Crystal delivers, which like actually he really did deliver in the filming of this movie.
Right.
But also additionally because Norman sets up the best joke in City Slickers 2.
When John Lovitz,
which John
his
Lovitz
brother
delivers.
Yeah.
Or maybe the second best joke in City Slickers 2, because I was thinking, $1 million, Mitch, $1 million is also a really good.
Oh, yeah, the little louder, Phil. I don't think the crack dealers heard you. Yeah, that one and the. So you're telling me every time you walk forward, you're going north, then I'm standing due east of an idiot.
Oh, man, that's a funny movie, too.
It is.
The next scene that I had was started with Barry picking out the ice cream flavor. So Ira and Barry are two brothers who sell ice cream that are on this cattle drive. They're clearly supposed to be Ben and Jerry stand-ins. And one of them, Barry, is like, he could pick out an ice cream flavor to go with any meal. Test him. And so Billy Crystal's like, Franks and beans, scoop of chocolate, scoop of vanilla. Don't waste my time.
Right.
That's an amazing,
by the way,
that's an amazing, highly quotable line.
That's what I was going to say. That's the other quote I say.
Yeah,
so
scoop of chocolate, scoop of vanilla.
That's every time somebody gives me something to do and it's too easy, I'm like, scoop of chocolate, scoop of vanilla, don't waste my time. And my kids have no idea what it's from. My wife does, and she hates it, but that's okay.
Dude, this movie's freaking so quotable. For a movie that, if you said, I can tell you 20 quotes from City Slickers and you'll recognize all of them, no one would believe you, but you could do it.
This is the thing. I think me and you could do it. Maybe the people we hang out with. But maybe not even all the people we hang out with. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm not saying they would know they're from City Slickers, but I'm saying if I say to like people our age, the man ate bacon at every meal. You can't do that. Like they would recognize that quote. They wouldn't know where it came from.
Yeah, maybe so. It's wicked funny. And people like my parents' age, like my dad has seen this movie probably 20 times. I mean, my dad, his style of funny is just like Billy Crystal.
Yeah,
it's really dry and set up and punchline type stuff.
It's very quippy.
Yeah, and so he really likes it. So he would definitely know them all.
But also, I was going to say that ice cream flavors like line that scene starts with. Then they move on to talking about baseball, and I really like that scene because I don't think you would put it in this movie if you made it now.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't talk about baseball, you mean?
No, I mean, not just because like baseball's not relevant anymore, but I don't think you'd have a scene that doesn't progress the story. It's just all the characters sitting around talking about ice cream and baseball, and then like talking about how come women don't care about who played third base for the Pittsburgh in 1960.
And then they all answer in unison.
Yeah,
yeah.
Don Ho.
Yeah,
or whoever the guy was. I don't know about baseball.
I think it's Don Ho. Don Ho sings "Tiny Bubbles," doesn't it?
Yeah, but it was something very close to that. But I'm saying, like, I don't think you would put that moment in a movie now. Like, I don't think. Yeah. I think the pacing in '91, like, for when you watch old movies, like you could let stuff breathe. Not every scene had to be like either an action set piece or like push the story forward. Sometimes it was just people sitting around chatting, and it's like, oh, this is a nice moment. This like fleshes out these characters. But like, I don't know if they would do that again.
I don't know that they would do it in a comedy for sure. Because comedies, you try to keep I mean, I guess it depends on the comedy, but like, so you have like those epic movies like Lord of the Rings. They have filler stuff like that where it's just people walking.
Well, I mean, if it's Peter Jackson editing it, it's like 90 minutes of people walking. But I mean, like,
but I'm saying like in a comedy now, like I don't know. It's got to be. I don't know. It does flesh out the characters, and I do like it.
It's weird because like if I watch like a superhero movie, like if I watch like a DC or Marvel, it doesn't matter. Like a lot of times they feel like they're 40 minutes too long, but what feels like is too long is like there's extra action set pieces. Right. It's like you wouldn't think you'd be like, I got tired of that guy throwing cop cars at aliens, but like I was kind of ready for that to be over with.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm trying to catch up on the Fast and the Furious franchise right now, and wow, there's a lot of shifting and a lot of cars. I think that franchise is like only action set pieces and then drinking Coronas. I think that's the only thing that there is. I got to be honest though, When you turn it up really loud, it's pretty fun. Is it all your scenes? You got more scenes.
I definitely have more. Do you have any more?
Oh, no, I'm out. I tried to pick my quintessential scenes. I just marked them off as
You narrowed down it a lot better than I did. I've already skipped a couple. Two more. Curly's death and burial. I don't think we have to say spoiler alert because all these movies are 30 years old. But Curly's death and burial, this is like not that long of a scene, but it had back-to-back like 5-star quotes. Like it was the one I already did, man ate bacon at every meal, which is amazing.
Every meal, yeah.
And then the cook is going to eulogize him, and he goes, "Lord, we give you Curly. Try not to piss him off." And Billy Crystal goes, "That's it?" And he goes, "What else is there? I got chicken burning."
Cookie. Yeah. Yes, I do like that.
I don't... And then the other scene I had is the best day ever scene, which is where the 3 leads all talk about their best days and worst days ever. And Billy Crystal tells this long story about going to a baseball game with his dad. There was only black and white TV, so it was the first time he'd ever seen people play in color. Someone hit a home run to win the game. Mickey Mantle signed his program.
Twice, by the way. Did you read that little bit of trivia?
Yes, I did. Well, because that's the thing is, this is the story his character tells in the movie, but this is also a true story from Billy Crystal's life. He actually did go to that game with his dad. Mickey Mantle actually did sign his program when he was a kid. And then Crystal had him sign it again when he was an adult, and they were on a talk show together. So, like, awesome. That's a great scene, and also I just like that story is actually true.
And it gives you a little glimpse into why Bruno Kirby's character is so, like, masculine and over the top with the story he tells about his dad.
Yeah,
so
I mean, this movie's freaking hilarious, but it also has a lot of heart. Like every character has a legit arc in it. All the leads, like Curly, everybody, like their character transitions through the movie, which is super cool. And you get some like backstory to flesh out why their character is the way that they are.
Well written. I'm with you.
Yes,
totally with you.
And also, I love in that scene that Phil's best day was the day that he got married, and his worst day is every day since was a tie.
It's a tie every day. Oh, man. By the way, I don't know if every time that you heard Daniel Stern talk, all I could think of was the Wonder Years. Like, because he's the voice of the Wonder Years. So every time he starts talking, that's all I can. Like, I couldn't hear anything else. It's ridiculous.
No, that's so crazy that you said that because no, I didn't at all. I completely forgot that he was the voice of the Wonder Years. That's how long it's been since I've seen the Wonder Years.
Check it on Plex. It's fantastic.
I was just thinking every time I see Daniel Stern, I just think about Home Alone, which came out this year. Daniel Stern had a big year.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
And I guess has not done a whole lot since then, although he did do Rookie of the Year, which he was amazing in.
That's, I thought that's what you were going to say instead of Home Alone. I thought you were going to say Rookie of the Year.
By far my favorite Daniel Stern performance. Bar none. Little help now.
You heat up the ice cubes.
It's the best of both worlds. Dude, he's underrated.
That guy's good. Yeah, he is. He's still around.
Yeah. He replaced Rick Moranis in this movie. He wasn't supposed to be in it.
Oh, I did read that. Yeah, I saw that.
Rick Moranis was going to be the third lead, and his wife got sick, and he dropped out, and Daniel Stern came in.
Yeah, good call on that, by the way.
Yeah, that's a pretty phenomenal audible.
Yes.
Other stuff I liked, not necessarily scenes. I really liked the titles. Like I liked the hand drawn cowboy roping stuff title sequence.
Yeah, I did too. I'll tell you one thing though. Speaking of not making movies like that anymore, if you have 3.5 minutes of titles in the beginning of your movie, and it doesn't have a skip intro button down at the bottom, you're screwed. Kids nowadays are not going to watch that. Like my daughter watches Cinderella, and it's that old 50s. It shows all of the titles in the beginning of the movie. She hates it. She can't wait to fast forward.
Yeah, so, I mean, and not just not just kids, but grown-ups wouldn't want. I mean, no modern movie would spend 3.5 minutes on titles that don't have anything happening behind them. It's just a black screen with a little cartoon cowboy that's roping people's names and pulling them on screen.
Yeah, I really liked it too. I marked it down for my favorite part of CGI. I couldn't think of any other CGI that was in there.
The only CGI that I caught in the movie is the lightning bolt when they were at the end when the rainstorm came in.
Oh yeah,
But truthfully, I didn't think it was bad. It was just like, it's a lightning bolt. I was like, they can't possibly have actually caught a lightning bolt. I'm sure that was CGI.
So what else you got for sequences, moments, quotes, performances, any other?
I have a bunch of quotes, and then I have a couple of like little moments. You want to do the quotes or you want to do the moments first?
Dude, my quotes are, I told you my 2 quotes. I just wrote down the quotes that I still use that I think about all the time. There's definitely, again, this is a movie I could quote throughout. When I was watching it with my wife, I was quoting it. She had to tell me to shut up. So like the scoop of chocolate, scoop of vanilla, and old nurse that you call mama, those are the 2 that I still use. So that's what I put down for my quotes.
Yeah, those are great quotes.
There's so many though.
You missed a lot of really other really good ones. Hi, Curly. Kill anyone today? Day ain't over yet.
Yeah, absolutely.
What'd you use for protection? Paper or plastic? That's a great line.
Yes.
Women need a reason to have sex. Men just need a place. That feels like Billy Crystal took it directly from his stand-up.
Yes. Oh, and keeping it on the same thing when Bruno Kirby says, "Hey, I really like your ass. I'd like to wear it as a hat." that whole bit. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Even in the cold open when they're in Spain running with the bulls, I didn't make you run. No, it was a 2,000-pound rampaging animal spraying bull snot all over Spain. That's what made me run. You made me stand in front of it.
Yes.
That's an amazing quote. I'm not saying I'm using that, but it was delightful.
And to be honest, like even when you were saying it, I could hear it in Billy Crystal's voice.
Yeah, it's a freaking. And then like he's talking to his wife about his daughter. She's got talent. Talent? She was in one play and she fell off the stage. That's not talent. That's gravity. Like the whole movie's full of freaking Billy Crystal quips like that are so good.
Yeah.
One last one that I have to mention. It's freaking so stupid. Right when they get to the dude ranch and Ed is wearing a jacket that has his name and his face on it because he's a sporting goods salesman. It's like, I really wish she wouldn't have worn that jacket. And then they're introducing themselves. And then Phil goes, I'm Phil Berquist, committed adultery, lost my job and my family. Billy Crystal goes, his jacket's being made.
His jacket's being made. Oh, man, that was fantastic. Fantastic.
I don't know if that's funny at all if you're not watching the movie, but I freaking cracked up when that happened.
Oh, yeah. No, it was great.
The other, moments I had that were really great, not necessarily scenes, but Mitchie the Kid comes to the rescue. I thought that was a great moment.
Yeah, that part. Do you know what else I forgot to mention too? When his horse is backing up, and you could tell like it wasn't in the script, and like Daniel Stern is just like, "Come on, back it up." Yeah, like I like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and Billy Crystal's improvising a moonwalk as the horse backs up.
Right.
I feel sure that's an improv, and that was amazing. I was going to say, when Mitchie the Kid comes to the rescue, he's not wearing his Mets hat. He's wearing, for the first time, Curly's hat, which is also the MacGuffin that kicks off City Slickers 2.
Oh, yeah. Where the thing's hidden in the top of it.
Yeah, he finds like a treasure map inside of Curly's hat.
The Legend of Curly's Gold.
The Legend of Curly's Gold. Another thing I really liked, all of the facial hair on the cattle drive. Bruno Kirby's mustache was amazing. Billy Crystal's beard was fantastic. And TR, the D-bag cowboy, had the handlebar stash. So, all of that, big 2 thumbs up.
Fantastical facial hair.
Yes. I had I really liked the score. I couldn't find out who scored this, movie. I watched all the credits, and they didn't have it or I missed it. But, the City Slickers, theme, the, motif that plays throughout is really good.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there is a guy who did it, because he did a couple of other movies. Hold on, I have his name right here. I got it pulled up. Mark Shaman? Shaiman? S-H-A-I.
That's the name that I found too, but that's not the guy who did the score. That's the guy who wrote the song that goes over the credits.
Oh,
so he writes the "Where Did My Heart Go" song that plays over the credits that James Ingram sings, which is the most 1991 of all 1991 things.
Let me tell you too.
It's a completely unrelated James Ingram ballad over the closing credits at the end of this cowboy movie.
Right, and I realized it was James Ingram, but it's not Just Once or 100 Ways, so no. I never really bothered to remember it.
No, but so that guy, Mark Shaman, is really interesting but Mark Shaman wrote all the music for Hairspray in 2007, but also, even more importantly, he wrote all the songs for South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut in 1999. Blank Canada.
Nice.
What Would Brian Boitano Do? Uncle something. That is an amazing credit. all of the music for South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut.
You can tell also where I am because I realized that he did Mary Poppins Returns and the Bee Movie. Those are the two that stood out to me because those are the ones my kids watch over and over.
Dude, I can't believe that you missed that he arranged the music for Sister Act 2.
No, I was gonna say he did all like Alex and Emma.
Yeah,
like we talked about that one all the time. The Kid, Patch Adams, and all kinds of different things. There's something else that I saw. Oh, Mother, Albert Brooks movie. Mother.
Yes,
yeah, fantastic. So like, that doesn't stand out to me for the score, but I totally remember that movie. So it's cool that he put all those movies together.
Yeah, he did all kind of awesome stuff. I think the only other thing that I had like on the best list is the setting, because like most of the movie takes place on the cattle drive. It's filmed in New Mexico and Colorado, but the whole thing is freaking beautiful and makes me want to ride horses in New Mexico and Colorado, even though I know for sure 100% I don't want to do that.
Right. Daniel Stern, he bought a ranch after he made this movie.
Yeah, with his City Slickers and Home Alone money.
Right, he could afford it. But he bought one out in Wyoming because he liked it so much. And Billy Crystal bought the horse that he
Billy
rode.
Crystal bought the horse. And then the horse was the same horse he rides in City Slickers 2, The Legend of Curly's Gold, coming to you in 2024.
It feels like it's almost there now.
Yeah, we'll be there in any moment.
So what about worst scenes? Do you have anything marked down as worst?
Dude, this movie's so good. I have nothing.
Well, yeah, I tried to think, like, were there any times where I felt it didn't need to be added or any of that? Like, I know how much you love montages when it's just like, so like when they were like getting dressed and there was the montage of them trying on all the clothes.
Yeah.
I was like, well, it's not a training montage for Batman, but I bet JT likes this montage.
I like a training montage a lot more than a getting dressed montage, to be sure. But that one was so quick, it didn't even really bother me. Yeah, I know you love people changing outfits in video games or in movies. Dude, I was the whole time I was going like, I don't have anything written down for the worst. This movie's so good. And like the only thing that even kind of bugged me was at the very end when he met his family at the airport. It felt like that scene was like a little bit too long and like a little bit too like romantic comedy. I felt like it was also maybe it's just the end of the movie and I really wanted something to not be great.
Right. The end of the movie was the only thing I wrote down, and it was the James Ingram song because I didn't see how it fit.
Yeah, totally. That's a really bizarre choice.
It's a Western with an R&B soul singer singing.
It's a Western, yeah, with a James Ingram ballad over the closing credits. That just seems like we're out of time. Somebody slap a song on this thing. So the most I could come up with for worst is a couple of minor quibbles. I have like 4. So first of all, TR, the D-bag cowboy, calls Mitch a gay slur, which is not cool.
No,
but really the only one in the movie. The only, I mean,
right. That's
other than regular cursing, which I love, the only thing that this movie says that you couldn't say in 2021. So that's definitely like, hey, super not cool, but also kind of amazing that they didn't do that way more. Phil wears a calculator watch, which I cannot condone.
Why? That's the quintessence. That's how you show that somebody's a nerd.
But they didn't ever
they
didn't ever feature it though. It just was like, I think he just had to wear it for all of shooting, and then like in the very end of it, he dove on someone, and I saw it, and I was like, I don't know why he had to wear that this whole time. Why does a grocery store manager need a calculator watch?
Because
is he totaling up register receipts on his calculator watch?
Maybe right there if he needs it. That's the thing is you put that in there, never mention it, and that's something small that just shows how much more of a nerd he is. Like,
but he's already wearing glasses on the cattle drive. They've already shown us that he's a nerd because he wears glasses on the cattle drive.
Right. No, it's definitely nerd.
But also his glasses are fake because the lenses are perfectly flat, so they reflect everything. That always drives me crazy. That people holding empty cups that are supposed to have stuff in them and fake glasses in movies are two things that I hate.
At least they have lenses in them.
Yes.
When they don't have lenses, that's worse.
And then the only other thing that I even could kind of complain about was that when the river crossing scene happened, which is supposed to be like this really intense moment where they might have all died, I didn't think it was all that scary. Like it was pretty clearly like someone had a sprinkler system over this like creek that they filmed.
Absolutely.
Like, I just didn't really buy that as like, all right, everyone's maybe going to die.
I don't know how you make that any different. Like,
I don't. That's what I'm saying. That's like you put a knife at my throat and were like, tell me some bad stuff about City Slickers, that's the list I just gave you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I got...
Because none of that really bothers me. This movie's top to bottom fantastic.
Fantastic. No, I'm with you. Totally with you. You want
right.
to talk about the time capsule?
Yeah, time capsule. So what we wanted to do with these podcasts is like talk about something old that people don't know about anymore. And this movie gave us a perfect one because they have this long sequence about talking about the VCR. Like, why does it have to be on channels 3 or 4? So I did a little research, and I've got that information for you.
Yeah, do it.
Here we go. So
I don't know if I know this.
TV back in the day was broadcast over the air, the same as radio. Every channel was a different broadcast frequency. So the same way that you don't see radio stations on like 97.1 FM and also 97.2 FM because there would be interference, there weren't typically TV signals broadcast on every single available channel. So because the early VCRs were used with TVs that did not have any way to plug in an external signal, they had no coax, no Cat5, no RCA, no HDMI, no USB, no Thunderbolt, just the only thing you could plug into the TV was power and antenna. So they only had one place to plug in the antenna, additionally. So you had to take your antenna, plug it into a VCR, and then from the VCR, plug it into the TV. So basically what happened with your VCR is your VCR, to get signal onto your TV, would broadcast a signal on a channel that was not being used locally, and then that signal would basically hop onto the antenna feed and just hijack a ride to your TV. So
that's
you would
crazy.
just, wherever you lived, you would have, like, you definitely had channel 2. Everyone had channel 2. Everyone probably had either channel 3 or 4, but not both because you couldn't put them right next to each other. So you just would pick which one is better for me, 3 or 4, and that. But you literally broadcast your VCR into the antenna signal into your TV, which is also why you could like record something on your VCR while watching something different on TV.
That's nuts. Which is what the whole bit was about. It seems like cable box. Like I had a cable box though.
Yeah,
like the old school cable box. It looked like a tiny little alarm clock that sat on top of the TV, and even like that had to be on. I still had to record it on 3. Like I know what he's talking about, and I'm not even talking about antennas. So that's
yeah. I think
crazy.
it was the same thing though. I think it was this. I think if you had the cable box, so the cable box replaced your antenna, but it still had to go through the VCR and then from the VCR into the TV. So you still had to select like which if I'm going to play something recorded on tape, which channel do I want to send that signal out on to the TV?
Yeah. That's
and like the
nuts.
same thing with the like if you had like a regular like Atari or a Nintendo, same thing. You had to like have your little RF thing that you screwed into the coax, and then you had to select a channel.
Yeah, we were super fancy. I had the little switch in the middle, so I could either do VCR or I could hit like a big ka-chunk button that would switch it over to Nintendo and watch Nintendo.
Oh yeah, I think I had that.
So part of the things too that I don't know if you're done with your part, but that's part of the stuff that I like about VCRs. Like I can't even tell you when I pulled that tape out and stuck it into that VCR for those 18-year-olds in 2021, and when I put it in there, the sound that it made when the thing went into the tape machine was super comforting, and I have no idea why. I mean, I know why, because I listened to it for 30 years over and over. But I'm saying, like, I was like, wow. And they were like, this is so awkward. I had to pull up a video on YouTube to tell them how a VCR works because they had no idea.
Yeah, of course they didn't. I mean, I had to research how it worked, and I was alive during this and have a degree in electrical engineering. I was like, why did we do that? Because I was a kid, and I was just like, you got to be on channel 3. Everyone knows that. But, like, I didn't know why.
They just really didn't know. And that, of course, brought me to telling them about National Lampoon's Summer Vacation, where they open up the shower curtain and you can see her boobs. On my videotape that I had of that movie, or that my dad had of that movie, it went really bad tracking right through that part because I had paused it so many times as a young boy to look at Beverly D'Angelo's boobies.
In between when Victoria's Secret's catalogs arrived.
Victoria's Secret, man, that was like Sears catalog time right
Sears
there.
catalog prior to Victoria's Secret. Dude, yeah, VCRs are great. I haven't used one in 15 years. I may never touch one again, even if I live to be 1,000, but I definitely liked them.
Man, like those type of, like I can remember all of that stuff, and that's all gone.
Well, I mean, dude, do you remember how many tapes I made when we were kids that were just like Simpsons episodes that I just recorded off of TV? I had like
Oh, boy,
I had
boy.
like 25 VHS tapes just full of Simpsons episodes.
It was and some of them still had the commercials in it. So if you go back
Yeah.
and watch them, it was really good.
Cool. Hopefully we've answered the question of why the VCR had to be on channels 3 or 4, and also what a VCR was.
Yes. All right, what you got for the next Remember People? You wanna
Yeah,
talk
the
about
next thing
that?
I have
Who
is
was it?
you may remember me from such films as I really wanted to get a Troy McClure sound effect, but they all actually have him listing fake movies.
Yes. Andre the Giant, we hardly knew ye. The only thing I wrote down here was Jake Gyllenhaal. This was his first movie.
Yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal is Billy Crystal's son. This is his first role. The other you may remember me I had was Jeffrey Tambor, which is Billy Crystal's boss.
Yes.
His other kid was played by his actual real-life daughter, Lindsay Crystal. I don't know her from anything else, but I thought that was interesting.
Yeah,
and then the
that's how I read
last one is Yeardley Smith, who voices Lisa Simpson, is Daniel Stern's baby mama.
that. Yes. It
I'm
was in his
late.
car!
Why is she telling you this, Phil? Because I'm her boss. We have a health plan.
That's really nice that the people that work on a register can get a health plan back in 1991.
Yeah, right,
'Cause they don't know.
91, the freaking good old days when you worked at a grocery store and had health insurance.
USA. All right, so alternate universe.
Oh, dude,
That's it.
one other. I didn't know this, but I learned it researching this. Helen Slater, the lady who plays Bonnie, who's like
Right,
the
yeah.
one woman who's on the cattle drive, she was the lead in the Supergirl movie, which came out a couple of years after the Christopher Reeves Superman movie. They were trying to set up a Supergirl franchise to go along with Superman, and she was Supergirl. It
Nice.
just the first movie came out, didn't go anywhere. But dude, she's
Supergirl's
she's
it's a TV
played.
show now.
Yeah, well, that's what I was gonna say. She's played in the like Superman universe ever since then. Like she was in Smallville in the early 2000s, and she's on the Supergirl TV show like last year. Like she's still doing
Nice.
Superman
Nice.
stuff. Just kind of phenomenal. But yeah,
As mu-
she may be the only
I
person
did
from
not-
this movie who's still working.
Billy Crystal still does stuff, right?
Yeah,
That's
I'm not
awesome.
saying Billy Crystal can't get work. I'm just saying I'm not seeing him
No,
in
no.
a lot of stuff anymore. Probably
No,
because
he's
he
not-
doesn't
he-
care and he's got big piles of
he's-
money.
Absolutely. He's got Baya Ranch money now.
Yeah, he's got by Wyoming money.
Yeah. So yeah, who would you switch if you could switch out people, like an alternate casting choice?
Am I going 91 alternate casting?
Yeah, sure.
I don't know, man. I think the only one that I would consider switching out is Bruno Kirby, but he was really good. But he's just the only one that I could imagine the movie surviving if you swapped out.
So you don't think Rick Moranis would have been okay as?
Yeah, Rick Moranis would have been
That's
great because Rick Moranis is great. But like,
Right.
would I wanted him in this instead of Daniel Stern? I don't know. Would you have wanted him in this instead of Daniel Stern?
No, you're right.
Like Daniel Stern's
Daniel
friggin'
Stern's
perfect.
he's my dude. I like him. Yeah, I could see Bruno Kirby not being in it. And at one point, I remember just glazing over some of the notes. It seems like he and Billy Crystal are like friends outside of this. I don't like Harry Met Sally. He was in that with Billy Crystal, and I think maybe that's how they got to this point. But I think he played the part. Like I think he did a great job.
Yeah, no, he was good. I'm not saying like he was bad and I
the
need to get somebody
macho-
else in there, but I'm saying if you go like
Right.
gun to your head, you have to replace someone. I'm not replacing Jack Palance. I'm not replacing Billy Crystal. I'm not replacing Daniel Stern. The only remaining option to me is Bruno Kirby, who I think you probably could sub out with some other 1991 actor who had a fantastic mustache.
What about so Jack Palance almost didn't do it. They almost had Charles Bronson do it. So
yeah, Jack Palance was committed to another project. He was their first choice. He was who Billy Crystal always wanted for Curly. In fact, Curly's like a reference to a Jack Palance role in an old Western, I think.
it is, yeah.
Yeah, and Charles Bronson wouldn't do it.
Right. He was not excited about it either. He was like, he dies on page 46. I'm not doing this. So that's definitely. And again, I'm with you. I think that was the best Curly they could have picked. What about you remake it now? Who plays Billy Crystal's part now?
Oh man, who's like a late. The
Yeah.
problem is like in Billy Crystal's era in 1991, like Billy Crystal's 43 when this movie comes out. That's like midlife crisis movies. But now if you're 43, you're like you still have 8 abs. That's like
Right.
Bradley Cooper is like 43. It's like, is he midlife crisis? No, he's like still an action star.
Right. So who's midlife crisis now?
I don't know, man. Who's a good, like, I feel like we make so few comedies now. Who's a good comedic actor that could play like sad midlife crisis guy? Like Luke Wilson, somebody like that.
Yeah. No, that's a good choice. Luke Wilson.
There's got to be somebody I'm missing.
He's pretty versatile though, Luke Wilson. So he could probably do. Man, I don't know. I put some thought into it. I just don't know.
Let's do a couple more facts before we get to the questions.
Yeah. Hit the facts.
We're going to talk about the Mets cap. So Billy Crystal's like a huge, famous, really well-known Yankees fan, but all throughout this movie he wears a Mets cap. And the reason is that the New York Mets made a big contribution to his comic relief charity, and like as a thank you, he wore a Mets cap all throughout this movie rather than his Yankees, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I wish they would do that comic relief thing. I used to like that.
Yeah,
do you remember what that was with the Whoopi Goldberg and Robin Williams and
and Billy Crystal?
Yeah, it was good. Good stuff.
What else? This movie made the American Film Institute's list of 100 funniest movies.
Really? Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean the list that came out like in the early 2000s, so I don't know if it still would, but it made it when it came out.
But like you said, they don't make that many comedies, and this one,
no.
If it's still holding up for us in 2021.
Here's the crazy thing, man. If you go back and watch like The Hangover, which is probably the biggest comedy of the 2000s, it's already way more inappropriate 14 years later than this movie is 30 years later. Like they have so many jokes and bits in The Hangovers that like not that long after it's like you can't say that anymore. That movie's now awkward. Where this is like still as hilarious as it was in 1991.
But that's the thing. So the whole time I'm thinking, like while I was watching this movie, this is not dick and fart jokes. Like the movies, like comedy movies now aren't this type of funny, and I like this type of funny.
Yeah, me too. I think there's a lot of like comedies now have to be like kind of shock, like kind of frat comedy. Which I love, but then when you watch it 4 years later, you're like, oh, we know a lot more now about what's funny and what's not funny, and now I feel bad that I laughed at this movie. Where this is like 30 years later is still hilarious. I mean, it's a little quippy, but it's not like dated.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe if someone younger than us watched it, they would think it is.
No, it's, I mean, I think it's dated as far as you could tell it's in 1991.
Yeah, because no one has a cell phone.
Yeah, and nobody, like they use the house phone. Like all that type of stuff. I know that it's dated for that, but because it's like set as a Western and they're all dressed in the clothes of Westerns, like some of the clothes that they wear before they take the cattle drive, you can tell it's the 90s. Yeah.
Everybody's like wearing giant shoulder pads and like all the pants are ginormous.
But there's movies that make sure not to do that. So stuff like Sleepless in Seattle. That I mean, it's still dated, but they purposely try to make it to where you can narrow it down to a couple of decades, but you don't know really when it was. And saying like one fine day with Michelle Pfeiffer. Yeah,
but the problem is like they want to do that with those movies, but those movies revolve around people talking on the phone, so you immediately know what year it's not when you see those. Like, you can tell from the clothing, like, oh yeah, it could be. But it's like, I can see from her cell phone, which if like someone tried to mug me, I could ward them off with it. I know this movie didn't come out in the 2000s.
Yeah.
I don't think I have any more facts. I think the only one that we didn't mention is that the story for this movie was Billy Crystal's, but he did not get a story credit, probably because he's the executive producer and he's the star and he made a pile of money regardless. He didn't need the extra story credit.
Correct. And the guys who actually wrote the screenplay did a fantastic job.
Oh, yeah. Talk about the writers.
So the guys who wrote this movie wrote a bunch of other movies. Lowell Gans, Babalu Mandel are their names. They did really great stuff. Back in the 80s, they did Night Shift with Henry Winkler and Michael Keaton. Splash with Tom Hanks. Spies Like Us with Dan Aykroyd, Chevy Chase.
Classic.
Gung Ho, which I don't even know if you've seen this. No. That's Michael Keaton. It's about a car manufacturer, and it's got Norm in it. It's fantastic. And then A League of Their Own. They wrote that. They wrote Multiplicity, and they did Ed TV. All movies, before 2000. But again, they also have By Wyoming money now because all of those movies were
Yeah.
were super hits.
We'll definitely
Super
talk
good.
about them more when we do A League of Their Own and Multiplicity next year, because we're definitely gonna.
Absolutely.
Because those movies are phenomenal. That's a pretty solid credits list.
Yeah, those guys really did well. And Billy Crystal didn't help them with any of those, so we know they could have done it on their own.
Yes.
But it was Billy Crystal's idea.
Nice. All right, I think the thing to end it on is we had 5 questions that we're going to try to ask about all these movies. The first one is, can you still watch and enjoy this movie in 2021?
I can, yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, I just watched and enjoyed the absolute crap out of it. And
Yeah.
if you told me I had to watch it again tomorrow, I wouldn't be upset at all.
Right. Agreed. All right, question 2. Would this movie get made if it were pitched now?
I don't know, man. I think it depends on who the Billy Crystal is that pitches it. Like, I don't think Luke Wilson can get this movie made, but I'm sure there's a comedy star. Like, who's the biggest comedy star? Like, if Adam Sandler wants to make this movie, he can make any movie he wants. But it's going to be on Netflix, and it's going to be not very
Go
good.
straight to Netflix.
And also, Adam
go straight
Sandler's
to
not doing movies where he has to sleep out in the dirt. Like, he's going to Hawaii every time.
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
I'm not blaming him, but I'm just saying I don't think he's lining up for this. So it's not
what-
that
what about,
expensive
like-
to make a Western, and the story would still work, but I don't know who would do it.
Ryan Reynolds, he's comedy. He could do it or no?
Ryan Reynolds can do anything, but I mean, do I really believe that Ryan Reynolds is having a midlife crisis? Where he's has 12 abs and is like married to a smoking hot superhero chick and everyone loves him and he's got a gin that makes him like $600 million. It's like, I don't watch a movie about Ryan Reynolds having a midlife crisis. I don't know if I buy that.
Yeah. Brings me back to that David Spade bit where he's talking about if your life is bad, then that means mine is god awful.
Yeah, mine's horrible.
Agreed. I agree.
I wish
think
they
it
would make
depends
this
on who does
movie.
it.
Like, if it's a freaking, like, I'm trying
You
to
would
think
want a remake?
I don't want to remake it. I just want another movie like this. Like, just rip the story off, which is not all that original. Midlife crisis
Right.
guys go out and find themselves.
Yeah.
Like, that's The Wizard of Oz. Like, one of the reviewers from the 90s basically called it, like, The Wizard of Oz, like, cowboys. And
Nice.
It's totally true. Don't remake City Slickers. Don't call it City Slickers. But, yeah, just make another Western where guys go out and find themselves, but it's also funny. I'm in for that.
Yeah. And I normally don't like Westerns, but if it's a Western comedy, I think I could get behind it.
Yeah, although I guess Seth MacFarlane made a Western that was supposed to be funny a couple years ago, except it wasn't funny.
There were still funny parts in that, too, though.
There were funny parts, but not this.
It's not this, but that was dick and fart jokes, too, though.
Well, yeah, it's kind of Seth MacFarlane's lane.
That's his kind of comedy, right.
Is this a movie or a TV show if it gets remade? I think movie, honestly.
I think movie.
There's no episodic story to be told here. I think this is just 90 minutes of laughs and like pretty scenery, and then you're done.
The only way I could think about making it a TV show, if I had to spin it as a TV show,
is if they're time traveling back to solve mysteries like Quantum, but on horses.
No. They go back, and now instead of just doing a cattle drive, they like move to New Mexico with his family, and they're doing this full time now on a ranch, and the family has to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
City
like
Slickers 3 or City Slickers, the TV show.
Like Yellowstone with Kevin Costner, except it's funny.
Right.
Fourth question is it okay for kids? And if so, what age? I don't have kids, so you take that one away.
I got this one because this is where I took, literally while I was watching it, this is where I took the most notes. I would say, because it's PG-13, I don't always say like, oh, you got to be 13 to watch it, because I have a 9-year-old that's seen the adventure movies. But I would say 13 to 14 years old is perfect for this movie. There are some positives, like, the 3 main characters are friends that they've been friends for their whole lives, like stood by each other, and they're always helping each other out and stuff like that. And, like pursue your dreams and love your family and all that stuff. So there are positives.
Find the one thing.
You got to find the one thing. But like sex, if you're my 9-year-old, you don't know what that is. So like they're talking about they're having an affair. Phil hooks up with the guy. They say stuff like, wait, I wrote it down. Bang the ass out of her.
Wear her ass like a hat.
Yeah, screw her brains out.
Not kid friendly.
And her saddle is having all the fun stuff like that. Those are the things I wrote down. Just a lot of lewd remarks about women that I don't know that I want my kid younger than 13 watching. Drinking. I wrote this down just because there are people that don't want to show their kids other people drinking, which that's not my house. But
yeah.
But there's a lot of drinking. Curly smokes a cigarette for literally every scene that he's in.
Front to back the entire time.
Yeah. And chewing tobacco when Bruno Kirby spits on the shirt and then he's in the store and he's like, yeah, I'll take that shirt
I'll take that shirt too.
Yeah, that whole thing. And then like language, just language in general. They say BS. They say the S word, the B word, GD.
Yeah.
They say the F word that you were talking about. The,
one gay slur.
The gay slur. They say balls. They say tits. I mean, I don't know what we're allowed to say on this podcast, but now you can say all kinds of stuff. And then they do a hand gesture that the what's the guy at the career day? When Mitch is talking, he's making a hand gesture.
He's pantomiming as self-love.
Yes, absolutely. And then the last thing I wrote down was like violence. So there's like gunplay. There's a knife where Curly throws the knife at whoever, Jeff, whatever his name was. TR. Throws it at his junk. He slits him from neck to nuts. He says stuff like that.
He puts the rope around his neck and drags him.
Right. He gets gored in the butt by a bull's horn in the very beginning.
Yeah.
So, like, they don't really show a lot of stuff that's super violent, and compared to the Avengers movies, it's not. But I did mark that down as well. Yeah,
there's not a lot of gore, but there is a lot of, like, simulated violence.
Yeah, absolutely. 13, I think, is right.
The last one I have is should I go back and watch it, which is kind of similar. Can you still watch and enjoy this in 2021? I guess maybe we could answer it slightly differently. Like, if you heard this and you're still listening, why, first of all? But also, if you're going, should I watch this? I haven't watched this in forever. Absolutely. Please do that. You're going to be so mad that you waited so long to rewatch this. It's freaking so funny.
Absolutely funny. Yes, you should go back and watch it. And I can't wait till my kid turns 13 so I can show it to him.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the only other thing is, like, where could you find it if you want to watch it? It's streaming on HBO Max for free, on Amazon Prime for $13.99. $13.99. That's a lot. Not even worth it for me, and I'm sure I'll watch this movie 25 more times. But yeah, HBO Max for free. Cool. I think that's everything, right?
Well, that's everything, I think. That's all I got. I really enjoyed it. I hope we get to make more of these, and I hope we get better at it.
We're definitely going to make more, and I think we can only get better at it. We'll see you next time.
Absolutely. Good day, everyone.
Thanks for listening to Movie Life Crisis. Please subscribe, rate, and review, and remember, don't drive angry.